The old village of Fleix on the banks of the Dordogne. Dordogne is just behind me. Here it is. Running all the way to Bordeaux. I'm going to be painting this scene here. It's October, late in the day, low sun, long shadows. Need to work quite quickly before the light goes, so let's get started. Now unfortunately I've got these cars in front of me and they're just obscuring the base of the building, so what I'm going to try and do is just imagine those cars not there and try and capture the rest of the, well, obviously the rest of the architecture. I can see light coming from the left. I have to work quite quickly because it's late in the afternoon in autumn, and trying to get the composition right, the balance of the left-hand building, that beautiful overhanging roof on the right. See if we can make a feature of that one. Start with the roof on the right. Let's go there first. So the ridge across the top, and then that lovely pointy bit. There's a chimney stack or something catching the light there. Building, a bit of perspective here, a little bit tricky. And they're old buildings, of course. There might be some cars slowly going past in this recording. Someone's just gone past now. Didn't stop. I probably frightened them off. Right. Rest of the village. We've got the left-hand side of the street, and again a lovely old building. Lovely old building on the left. There's some pillars here, a high wall to my left, and then down to street level. Let's get in a car in there. So a figure coming down as the street, just as I am drawing here. Imagine a bit of light coming across the scene as well. Bonjour. Bit of light catching to the corner of that building there. Light in there. Have light coming. I'm just imagining light coming across here. Imagine there's a gap in between these two posts, in between these posts on this side, and just letting a little bit of light come in. Now the street. Just go to one side. Yeah, there's some sort of ledges and things coming out from the entrances, and then a sort of drainage area there. Bonjour. Bonjour.
C'est bien.
Merci.
Je ne voulais pas vous déranger parce que, comme il y a très longtemps qu'on n'a pas vu quelqu'un, justement un artiste, faire un peu de peinture ici,
Okay.
on a dit, on va surtout pas déranger le monsieur là.
Ah, merci.
Bravo.
Merci beaucoup.
Ça fait plaisir.
Bonne journée.
Les gens qui viennent nous voir ici.
Pardon?
Ça fait plaisir de voir des gens qui viennent comme ça.
Ok, merci. Bon ville. Très beau.
Eh ben, c'est bon, oui, en plus.
Merci. Right, is that car too large? We'll go with it. Right, painting. Let's get some water in the pot. Okay, first step, painting wise, is getting in that sky and then transition to the lighter colour of the stonework. So, bit of cobalt blue, cerulean blue, bit of a test on that side. We'll go a little bit more intense as we come over to the right with the sun coming from the right hand side. And now, light, the light stonework, yellow ochre, bit of cad orange. And a bit more yellow ochre. Certainly down the end of the street, a little bit there, actually there's a bit more sky there, and then the red of the rooftops, bit of burnt sienna, light red, ooh, bit too dark. This is just the underlying wash here. Yellow ochre down that side, catching that bright stonework. Actually just lift it off a bit, make it a bit lighter. Now, coming down to the street level, just a base colour here to really cover up the street. Have that guy just catching a bit of the light. Just really putting in a base colour here. Ultramarine blue, cadmium blue, burnt sienna. And we'll go in a bit darker later on when I get to the darks. Right, I think that is it as a first stage wash. So done the drawing, initial wash, getting in the colour I want for the, oh, it's drying quite quickly, that's good. The underlying wash for the buildings. Just watching a stray dog to my right. It's gone past me a couple of times. I think it's harmless. It's got its tongue out, it probably wants a drink. Right, let this dry, and then, so I left the car and the figure light because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do there. There's lots of reflections bouncing around on tops of the cars. So we'll see how we get on with that car. Let's just mop up that bead there. Check how dry that is. It's drying nicely. Yeah, I think a minute or two and we're done. Let me just describe my materials while that's drying. So I've got Saunders Waterford cold press paper. This is 300 grams, 140 pounds, 15 inches by 11 inches. Paints are from Japman's Art Materials, handmade watercolour paints from the UK. I've got neutral tint, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, spring green, cobalt green, cerulean blue, cobalt blue. Where was I? Spring green, viridian green, cobalt green, cerulean blue, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, cadmium red, cadmium red. I'm going totally wrong with this. Light red, cadmium orange, and cadmium yellow, believe it or not. Bit of lavender there. Right, next stage, let's get in some of the darker buildings in the background. So, totally a bit about brush. This is a Da Vinci Gassanio number 4. I think it's a semi-mix of synthetic and squirrel. So I need to do the building in the background. The street sort of curves around to the right. Get in the darks of the buildings. Just change a bit of yellow ochre for the colours of the walls. Then it goes a little bit blue. Round to the right, over the car, down to the street, and then just round that figure a little bit. Next. Let's do the roof of the building on the right. Now, that back roof is quite dark against the light here, and then the right hand side of that chimney. Like that. This roof here is actually quite dark. Quite dark against the light wall on the right hand side, and got a sort of jagged edge to the tiles. Then a little bit of shadow coming up from that, and shadow continues down, little bits of light catching the right hand wall there. I can just make out just a few windows and things there. Next, let's do the building on the right before the sun totally disappears. So there's a shadow going across. It's darker here, almost black. And then a little bit of the wall between the stone pillars. There's a little bit of the roof there, tiles on the roof, just a little bit darker against the wall and the sky. There's a chimney here. All right, rest of this wall here, and then we'll go across the street and then up the right hand side. Now the wall on the left, it starts off fairly warm. And then it gets a bit cooler. And then it gets brighter again, because the sun's coming in on that right hand side. It's bouncing back against this. Well, this wall here, it's like a light, and the light's coming that way. So we'll come down a bit. Now I need to go, just stepping to the side, just look behind this car here in front of me. The wall as it comes down to the bottom, we need to go cooler. And let's get in that pillar there. The car here let's have a little bit of light catching the right hand side. And then a bit of shadow underneath the car. Now we're coming into the road now. I mean, imagine this slither of light coming across the scene. We'll have it about there. Not have it too perfect. And I need to observe the contour of the road as well. Ooh, doggy's back again. Just having a bit of fun. Okay, up the right hand side. And then there's this almost like a very ancient dormer window. And now we'll come down over this building. So that light is going to go up to there, and then I need to continue the foreground shadows. To there. There's a little bit of greenery in there. And some there. And some there. Need to do the figure. dogs have started now. So figure.
Le chien nageur. Il a nagé comme moi, le chien.
Ah ouais?
Ouais. Ouais, le chien.
On va voir s'il n'y a pas cette fenêtre là. Il n'y a pas des gamins? Vous n'avez pas vu les gamins là?
Non, on les a vus, mais il y a longtemps.
Right, details now. Just a little bit of picking up on some of the details of the walls. Gosh, popular spot here. There's some rails coming in from that side. And just a little bit there. A bit of detail between the pillars. Distant buildings, a bit more detail on the base of the roof. Maybe some windows, just a few windows. Bonjour.
Bonjour monsieur. Viens. Allez. Ton gars. Allez, ton gars, viens. C'est pas à moi ce chien, il s'échappe tellement tout le temps, je voudrais le ramener chez lui.
Dog doesn't listen to its owner. Go home, it's tea time. Is it coming together? There's an entrance in here, and it's got two upside down cannons as posts. I can't get it in, but be too much detail of it on the right. Right, bit of detail on this right-hand building with the perspective. There's lots of lovely cables going across the street.
Allez, ton gars, viens. Allez. Allez. Allez.
Dog
Ah.
doesn't want to go.
Allez. Allez, viens. Allez. Faut rentrer à la maison, t'es tout le temps en train de t'échapper. Allez, dépêche-toi. Allez. Allez, viens. Allez.
Right, where were we? I need a bit more definition to the background, the buildings up there. And maybe just an indication of some of the stonework on the left here. Just a few stones. A few lines to help with the perspective. The car, let's put in some tail lights. Right, rigger brush. Got the rigger brush out. Do some lines across the scene. And they're all going to a point about there. So shall I have it going to? We'll move it. We'll have them going to there. So one coming in from over the top, and then second one, third one. There's a sort of balcony there. And a bit of shadow under the balcony. Shutters on the right hand side. That's the rest of that wall. This dormer window in there. And a bit more to the bottom of that roof there. I think that's about it actually. Let me just, with this rigger brush, just get in a few more lines just to, don't want to go too dark, just a few more lines. bit of viridian green and a brown, just to get a little bit darker underneath these shrubs here on the right. A few weeds on the left hand side. There we are, I think I'm done. Just rub out some of these pencil lines here just to reveal a bit more of the paper. I could actually add in some lighter lines for the cables. Some lighter lines for the cables with a little bit of white gouache. Make sure my brush is clean. Don't want to dirty up my lovely paint. And maybe just where, perhaps some of these lines here, just behind, where there's a bit of darkness behind. That's not very effective, is it? Too dry. Just where it's catching the light against the darker background. Yeah. Figure, a few highlights there. Yeah, we're done. So, Fleix, almost medieval village. Sure, these buildings go back 600-700 years. Just get a bit of definition on this roof. Trying to capture the late evening light. It's too much. The late evening light, and imagine the car's not there. Bit of light coming across the street. And yeah, these lovely old buildings that overhang there. Thanks for watching. Catch up with you on the next one. Just take you up to this house here with these cannons and gate posts. Pretty impressive. As is that overhanging roof in this lovely building here. Look at that. That could be a nice painting there. Maybe go vertical on that. Well, the light's fading. I'll disappear now from Fleix on the old Dordogne.